Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Got a special guest here in the studio. But first, let's take a look at our weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and his hard-working crew of here in Southport, serving the whole Panhandle community in our everyday comfort needs. High today, we're looking at an 87, low 73. It's springtime, folks, and the water temperature for the first time this year has hit 80 degrees at the end of the pier, 80.3 to be exact. So that's really bringing in some warm current. Now, on the downside of this, the warmer the water gets, the more chance we're going to have a little bit of that June grass coming in. So I haven't heard any reports, but I know what's going on usually when the water temperature is about 80 degrees. We'll have a little bit of it coming in. It won't be much. You still can do some good surf fishing, but just be aware of what goes on in a natural cycle of things. Our river readings brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do with Mountain Dew. How about Apalachicola, Bluntstown, looking really good. Is reading this morning a 3.9. That's low. That's getting right. 3.9. That's the lowest it's been the whole year. Now looking at the Choctawhatchee, Caryville, it bumped up a little bit with that rain the other day. It's at a 3.6. So both rivers are in really good shape and low. So you can really hit your holes good for the weekend. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're in those super tides. Looking at today's date, May the 18th. We're looking at a high tide right here around noon at 11:20, coming in all morning strong, and then going out strong all afternoon on into the night till about 11:02. Our wind's going to come in out of the west-southwest at 12. All these little things are going to add up to what you're going to do in the outdoors and whether or not you may or may not be successful. In closing out the weather section, I want to wish some local high school baseball teams good luck today in the Final Four. We had Bozeman Bucks down there in Fort Myers, and also the Holmes County down there in Fort Myers in the Final Four. Congratulations to them and good luck in the state tournament. Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back with our guest. Okay, welcome back and welcome to our special guest this morning, Clyde Land. Good morning.
Good morning.
Listen, we just became friends the other day. He called me up and he had been working on this invention and wanted to come show it to me. And you know how I am about outdoor inventions. I just absolutely love them. And so he drove down, we sat out in the driveway, just became friends because of the outdoor stuff we do. So tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, this is the first time I've ever been on TV.
I told him, just pretend we're on a boat fishing, and we're just sitting up in the slough somewhere, just talking back and forth. So we'll get them to relax.
Okay, that'll be good enough. My mother died when I was 5 years old, and my granddaddy and my grandmother had to help raise me. And I was so messed up over my mother's death till they didn't make me go to school. And I got my education on the wagon seat with my granddaddy. Mm-hmm. Most education and best I ever had. I didn't know it, but he was teaching me ABCs, how to read and write, right there on the wagon seat. He done a lot of peddling. Giveaway, probably more than he sold. He had a big old heart.
Yeah.
And when I did start school, I already was far enough along. I hadn't really lost anything. Mm-hmm. And the most important part of my education in my life was when I was just that little old boy. Mm-hmm. He taught me how to treat people, how to shake hands, mm-hmm. And most of the daddies nowadays don't even teach the little boys how to shake hands.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And he said, you always look a man in the eye and you always be honest. You don't never steal nothing. And while we was traveling on the wagon, we'd pass by some old drunk's house or something like that. He said, now son, you don't want to fool that kind of people. He said, if he's in trouble, you take time to help him, but you don't come have supper with him. And about one day, about the time we went by one of them old sorry folks' houses, his hog got out. So we messed around and helped him get his hogs out. But he taught me and said, you don't never hit a girl, no matter what she does to you. So you don't never hit a girl. Said he said, you can get away from a girl. And he said, if you have to fight, you don't just fight, you fight to win, but you don't ever fight if you can get out of it. He taught me all the basics about being good. And we raised out there on the farm, and like I said, I've seen him give stuff away to poor people all up until he died.
Oh.
He was just really a good man.
Where was the farm?
Just out of Kinesville. He actually homesteaded. People didn't know that there was still land in Florida you could homestead, but I can't tell you exactly what year, but he was in Georgia, and a fella come along wanted to buy his farm, and he wouldn't sell it. And he said, yes, sir, you'll sell it. I said, just tell me what you got to have for it. And my granddaddy made the mistake of putting a price on it, so he just paid him for it, and there he was without a home. And he come down there and homestead him someplace there near Kinesville.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I was raised on a farm. We farmed all our life, and I was a little fella back there plowing a mule, and then a good mule or a good horse will turn your plow around for you at the end of the road, you know, you just kind of straighten it up and go on. I'm sure you know that. So we was raised hard, but we always, I don't remember ever sitting down at the table without plenty of good food. Didn't have a quarter a lot of times. And I stole a nickel ice cream one time. I think that's the only thing I ever stole, but I stole that nickel ice cream, and it like to kill me for a long time, and it just worried me to death. And I found a dime in the road. So I went down to the store and caught the old man's back turned, and that owned the store, you know, the little old country store. I went up there and laid that dime up there by his cash register and sneaked out. And then I got to thinking, how am I going to get my nickel back? But I never got it back.
That's great.
But I know this just sounds like a bunch of small talk.
No.
But we were raised to be honest. No. And like I said, my granddaddy's education that he gave me is the best and most important education I ever had.
That's awesome. All right, that's a great beginning to a lifelong of good stories. So we're going to take a break. And he's been inventing some things, and we're going to share some of these inventions that Clyde has done. So we'll take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Here with our guest, Clyde Land, sharing some outdoor inventions that he has a patent on. Already got a patent on it, and I love this stuff. And he came the other day and showed it to me. I said, why don't you come on a show and show these folks? And first of all, you love fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, tell folks where you like to go fishing.
Oh, I fish in all the rivers and creeks, but I guess my favorite spot would be from below Caryville all the way to the bay on the Choctawhatchee. And of course, I like to fish way up above the dam at Chattahoochee. And I'm not much of a lake fisherman. I know how to catch them, but I'm not much of a lake fisherman because they don't taste as good.
You're exactly right. But you fished your whole life, haven't you?
Yeah, ever since I was a little old bitty boy. My dad was a sportsman. He stayed in the woods and lakes and anywhere that he could go fishing. He was a hunter, and he taught me, by the way, how to use a gun. And we've always had piles of guns and they never bothered anybody.
I know.
They
I understand.
never bothered anybody.
Yeah, well, I understand. Okay, so you got to thinking about all this fishing you've done, and you start putting these things together. And so tell us a little bit, one at a time, go over what you've invented.
Years ago, my brother-in-law, which was a good Christian man, I was aggravated with a little old brim. I didn't want to kill him. I wanted to throw him back, and I was aggravated with him because I couldn't get the hook out of his mouth. And I said, JW, all these years that nobody ever improved on the fishing. He said, what are you talking about? I said, you basically got the same old hook, got better lines, and you got an old cork. If you step on it, it's going to bust. And I said, we've come so far, and nobody's even made any improvements on fishing. And he just turned around and looked at me. He said, why don't you improve it? And it stuck with me. Of course, I was making a living and hunting and fishing when I could, and I never had really the time to do it. But after I retired, that stayed with me, and this is what I come up with. This little thing right here, you tape this on the end of your pole. Use good tape, because if you use electrical tape and it's real hot, it can slip out. You take that pole, you just tape it to the end of it like that, and if you hung up over your head, you just hook your line right by your cork and just twist it a couple of licks, and you'll break your line or either pull it down there where you can get it. So that just tapes on the end of your pole. You need two of them, because if you're fishing with the one that's got this on it, then that kind of messes you up. You need to have two of these. And
okay. All right, this is what it looks like. I got a close-up picture of it. Take a look at it right here. This is what it's talking about right here. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
And this right here, I just call it the bug, but actually what it is just a little old thing that takes the place of your cork. And by the way, this stuff is guaranteed for as long as you live, as long as I can stay in business, in which I'll be dead for long. But you just take this instead of fooling with that little peg and losing it all the time. You just run your line through there twice, and you can set it where you want it. Just slide it down and give your line a little pull, and it'll stay where you put it. And if the fish won't bite, or if it's a dark, old, cloudy day, you just pull your cricket or wiggler right up against this, and that fish can see this up there in the dark. He can see that early in the morning or late in the evening or on a bad cloudy day. He can see this and smell the cricket, and sometimes you catch one.
That ain't a good idea. There's a little bit of vision, a light to it, off the reflector.
And it's a lifetime guarantee on this stuff. And I'll add this: if you learn to use this, there's a little trick how to handle this stuff. But when you learn how to use it, you'll actually enjoy it, and you won't have to buy anymore, because with this you can save it. If it goes down to the bottom and hangs on a root, you do the same thing. You just push your line right through here and take your pole and push it down all the way to the log, give it a slight twist, and unhook it. Not every time, but most of the time you'll save your hook. And
okay. And this is like a group of inventions. Okay, he's got a set of stuff here. He's going through one at a time.
And this. Oh, by the way, I'll give you another guarantee. If you're a good fisherman and you keep this with you and learn how to use it, I don't care how many people's out there fishing on the river that day, if they're not catching anything and you're using all of my stuff here, you probably won't catch any either.
That's true.
But this right here.
Okay, I'll tell you what, we had a break and we still got some more stuff. Let's go take a final break and we'll set up the rest of these inventions. And we'll be right back with Clyde. Okay, welcome back. Here with Clyde. Right now we're getting his address put up. We sort of flying by the seat of our pants. We're going to, let's go on into the next session. Fishing game time for Blue Water, 1:47 to 3:47 lunchtime, and then later on 2:20 to 4:20. Let's go ahead and work on that, on the rest of the inventions. We'll get our picture set up, okay? Go ahead.
This, I had about every kind of hook extractor, retriever, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how many of them I've had, and I decided that I was going to make one I liked, and I messed around there for I've been messing with this stuff for about 5 years. And if you will take this and give it a half twist around your line and push it down the line in the fish's mouth, and just hold that line tight and give it a little push, it'll unhook it every time, and you won't be killing all those little fish. And when the old big one gets it hung and you're gonna break your hook, then you won't break it with this. You just give it a little twist, pull your line tight, just give it that little push, and it will unhook it every time. Even if it's hung in an old hard lip, if you catch it right, it'll just pull it back out of that lip.
Okay.
And this here is for a fishing pole, and it releases your fish the same way that does. You just pull that fish line up through this, and it's down in the fish's mouth, and it'll unhook him every time. I think I got one right here, yeah. I hate to waste this much time. But anyway, when it's down there, you catch this line right here. And this is hooked down in the fish. There's your hook, and all you do is pull this hook right into there, and it's still in the fish's mouth, but it's hooked here, and it can't do anything but give it a little push, and then it's loose. Mm-hmm. And there's two of these. This is for a reel. You can throw it a long way because it's heavy. And this one's for a pole. And this is for the bass fisherman. You take this, it's hard for me to show up here, but you take this, and it's perfectly balanced to where this is down in the water, but this keeps your worm up on top of whatever trash and grass and moss is out there. You're fishing on top of it. Not worth a nickel if you in a bunch of lily pads and stuff on top of the water, but if you fish in clear water, like Seminole, this holds that worm just like that on your moss and trash and stuff.
Right before the show, we went and got a 5-gallon bucket of water. He set it, I got a picture over here, set it in the water, and it's floating. And we're looking down into the 5-gallon bucket, so this is above it, okay? And then you can see right here, that's sitting on the bottom, just like you said, that's floating above it, okay? That's in a 5-gallon bucket. He just showed it to me, exactly what he's talking about, okay?
Okay, it actually, you bass fishermen, if you'll get this and try it, and I don't want you to buy something and not use it. They're $5 a piece.
I tell him this is too cheap. The amount of time he puts into it, he's losing money, but go ahead.
But I'm hoping to get somebody with some money where we can mass produce it, because I can't possibly make these things fast enough to be worth my time. They got to be mass produced. But this is this I want you bass fishermen. If you worm fishing, I challenge you to put this on one of your reels and anything you want to on the other one. And this is going to keep your worm on top of the trash and moss. It will hardly ever get hung up because it's trying to pick that worm up, trying to pick him up. It just ain't quite light enough to lift him off the bottom. But you can actually set this, and he's seen it a while ago.
Okay.
You can set that to hold that worm half off the bottom.
That's good. Okay, so here, I'm going to give you his phone number. We just wrote this down. Here's Clyde's phone number right here. And 638, of course, 850-638-4689. Give him a call, and he'll sell this stuff. And also, he sells it, here's his address, 2427 Suggs Road, Chipley. I just wrote this right before this break ended. So 2427 Suggs Road in Chipley. And how much are we talking about? You sell it in a set or shirt pocket you talking about?
If you just want this, it's $5, but for the whole kit, it's $35, and that gives me about $5 an hour for making them. But what I'd like for you to do, if you want to try a set of them, I'd like for you to just send me a check. Would you return the dress in an envelope? And I'll just send you a set, and if you don't like it for any reason, send it back. Okay,
we got to get out here. You did a great job. Some of the investors want to get together and put this, help them out financially. It's a great way to do it, but we've run out of time. Thank you so much, Clyde. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Do something good today for your fellow man. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.